I'm in prison fighting cancer. I mean, everybody asks me that same question, and it's like, what the fuck do you want me to say? I'm having a ball in here? It's fucking disgusting. The president of the United States is blowing up boats in the ocean for drugs, and they're selling them in here. None of this makes sense. Not a fucking bit of sense. That's just another bunch of bullshit. Yeah, how many times in the last year has our government shut down? Two, three times? And we can't afford to pay our elderly people's Social Security, without cutting it back. We can't afford Medicare without cutting it back. People can't afford health care, but we can spend $1 billion a day picking on a country we have no business even doing. It's all bullshit. You know, you promised that you would not weaponize and you would de-weaponize the justice system. And it's been a year and so many months now, and we haven't done anything to correct this justice system for the American people. All we've done is prosecute your haters. There are 30,000 people sitting in prison that should be home, because the federal government lied to put them here. And I don't know. I just can't believe that the people in my case got on world television and admitted to perjury and admitted that I was the one that was supposed to be killed. And I'm still here. After two reporters confronted you at the White House during the briefing in the press room and at the Oval Office, whether or not you were going to make this right and sign my clemency and let me go home. And you said you would look into it both times. And it's been 6 years. And nothing has been done. I don't even know how to answer people's questions anymore, whether or not I support you, sir. But, I'm not going to give up on you, because at some point you're going to see that the election is, you guys are going to lose the midterms if you haven't already lost them, because you gotta start doing something here in America that people are going to like, and making some wrongs right is the first place you need to start. The whole clemency, I mean, my clemency application is 100 pages of nothing but evidence proving that I'm innocent. You know why I can't get a new trial? Okay, this is how the government works, all right? They arrested me, they held me without bond, and they kept me in solitary confinement. I couldn't pay lawyers because I couldn't work to afford to pay lawyers. I couldn't help build evidence to defend myself because I couldn't get to a phone or a computer or any of my stuff. I asked for 30 witnesses at my trial, and I didn't get one because I was forced to use public defenders paid by the United States government. And every appeal that I have filed since then has been denied because those federal employees didn't preserve the motions properly during my trial. So again, I'm being punished. I can't get in a trial because what the government paid somebody to do to represent me done it wrong. Well, I mean, a lot of people, want to blame Trump. Trump's not to blame for deporting my husband. Biden is the one who scheduled my husband to be deported. You know, uh, the, the normal person out there, just wants to bitch because they want to bitch because they want to bitch. Nobody stops to think about nothing. Nobody stops to look at, facts or evidence or any of that shit. Just a bunch of social media whores. And it's actually disgusting that our society has turned to all of this. Because, again, President Trump, he got deported in May of last year. Yeah, but Biden's the one who scheduled him to be deported. Because I'm in prison for the Big Cat Safety Act. Whether anybody wants to admit it or not. Kamala Harris co-sponsored the Big Cat Safety Act for Carol. Okay? Dan Ash, the Federal Fish and Wildlife Director, and the president of the American Association of Zoos and Aquariums, was in his position during President Biden's term. Okay? And they arrested me, they held me without bond, they wouldn't let me. I mean, how many murderers get bond? Okay? I didn't even get bond. Okay? So they held me in solitary confinement for a reason. So I couldn't help defend myself. Then they make this shit show called Tiger King on Netflix. And they completely exaggerated and blew it out of proportion. Then after Netflix's Tiger King came out, they nicknamed the Big Cat Safety Act the Tiger King Bill. They passed it. Biden signed it into law. And guess who's exempt? Carol Baskin and Dan Ash's AZA. Shit. You ain't never gonna find out what happened to Don. Carol Baskin has thrown so much money behind that, it ain't never gonna happen. Look, how many cases in American history have been proven to be murder without a body? Quite a few. Okay. Now, sit and think about just the evidence that you saw on the show. Carol Baskin is the one who designed his power of attorney. Okay? Because it says that on the second page. This instrument was designed by Carol Baskin. Okay? Second sentence, in case of my disappearance. It was signed by Carol as a witness. It was notarized by Anne McQueen. And it was signed by Don Lewis. And Carol filed it in 1997. I believe it was September of 1997 to make it a legal document. 3 months later, she reported him missing. 4 years later, to the day, she had him declared dead in federal court and collected almost $7 million. The sheriff himself on the show said that they proved that Don Lewis's signature was forged, right? Okay? So if Carol designed it, Carol signed it as a witness to Don signing it, Carol obviously is the one who forged it, or she knows who did. So why aren't they all in jail for fraud? I mean, seriously, you take and you design it, you sign it as a witness, you file it to make it a federal, a legal document, and you declare him dead, and you collect the $7 million, and the sheriff proves that the signature of Don was forged. Carol knows who forged it, or she forged it herself. Why are we not prosecuting them for forgery of intent to collect $7 million? Yeah, the biggest thing that pisses me off is every news article that comes out says that I have 18 animal cruelty charges, animal abuse charges. I don't have one animal abuse charge. I've never been accused, I've never been charged, and I've never been convicted of any kind of animal abuse or animal cruelty. The animal charges that I have are paper charges. I'm doing hard time because my vet marked the wrong box on the health certificate. And that's called violating the Lacey Act. Now, you got to ask yourself again, okay, she testified in court that her and her secretary are the ones who filled that form out. But I got convicted of it. How big of a circle jerk rig is that? Go back and look at my transcripts. She says right there that her and her secretary are the ones who filled it out. Okay, another big misconception about my whole trial is Lauren Lowe testified that they owned the zoo. I mean, she claimed that they paid $80,000 for it, which they didn't, but that's what she testified for. Okay, and she testified that that it was their bank account. They paid the bills. They did everything, and I worked for them. But when I got sentenced, the judge blamed me for everything that went on at a zoo that I didn't even own. But I don't even know if this petition is going to help because I don't even know if Trump gives a shit if 40,000 people sign it or 2 million people sign it, because obviously putting Obama heads on gorilla bodies and fucking making AI airplanes dump his shit on protesters, obviously he don't care what people think. So I really don't think a petition is going to help me out. But what you need to worry about to sign that petition is this very thing could happen to any one of you that are listening to this interview, because the government's making money, okay, off of you people being in prison. They're making $195 a day on illegals, and I'll tell you right now, there's over 800 of them in the place that I'm at, and they're not deporting them. Okay, they're keeping them here, okay, because they're spending $500,000 a month on commissary. They're buying all the meth and the cocaine and the marijuana and everything else in here. This is nothing but a legalized money train, and you people out there need to wake up to it. Okay, if this was about deporting people, especially nonviolent ones, okay, that are taking up taxpayer money, I mean, this is where I could talk all day long about this. Okay, out there, people are bitching. Oh, they're taking up health care. They're taking up this. They're taking up that. They're costing us money. What do you think they're doing in here? They're getting free health care. They're getting to buy all of the drugs that the government can peddle through you. Okay, and some of these people are here for 10, 15 years for being illegal, and they're not sending them home. If this was about taking the money off of the strain of the taxpayers, and this was about illegals, there'd be 20 Greyhound bushes parked out in front of this place, loading them up. Because let me tell you, the worst thing that you can do to them is send them home. Because right now they got it made, because they're making a killing in here selling drugs. 9 out of 10 people I see get off a bus every Thursday, come here, not drug addicts, and within a month they're addicted. This is, and this is coming from an ex-police chief. This is the most legalized drug and human trafficking that I've ever seen in my life. I haven't had a chance to look at any of them. All I've ever seen is what's on TV. But there's a reason why they're hiding. I think Jeffrey Epstein's dead? No, I don't think Charlie Kirk's dead. I think it's all bullshit, distractions, cover up. That's what this Iran war is about. This is about distracting the American people from what's really going on. How many boats have you seen blown up? Drug boats blown up since we started Iran. Okay, then it wasn't about drug boats, was it? Well, I mean, yeah, the president of Honduras. Okay, well, if this was about drug trafficking, what the hell are we doing pardoning the president of Honduras? I think, I mean, I get a lot of mail, shit ton of mail, still, okay? Uh, and I don't think I came out as a villain. I think I came out as a TV character that people fantasize about being real. Because I didn't film for Tiger King. A lot of people don't understand that, okay? I was in jail 2 years before Tiger King was filmed. And they took all of that footage of me off of my YouTube channel without permission and made Tiger King. Because Eric Good, who produced that, works for PETA. He's the same clown that made Chimp Crazy. I think it's hurt me, actually. Because, I mean, I did get word, direct word from the U.S. Pardon Attorney's Office that they're worried about bad press if he was to pardon me. I'm like, how much worse can your press get right now? You know what I'm saying? It would actually benefit him, I think, if he would sign my clemency. I'm not even asking for a pardon. I just give me time, sir, to let my ass go to Mexico, okay? Because I'm done here. But if he was to sign my clemency tomorrow, between tomorrow and November the 5th, I would dominate the news, and it would do nothing but benefit him and the Republican Party. But I don't think they're that intelligent. I have 4 more years left, if not. I've done the worst 8. I just saw the doctor today, and they wanted to do some more radiation, and I denied any more treatment. I am that done until I can get out of here and get some real doctors. Hell, I went through a year of chemo and radiation, being locked in a 6 by 12-foot concrete room, puking by myself for a year. I'm not doing that anymore. Fuck that. You think people out in the world think they got it tough when they have cancer? They're in their own home. They got their own family. You got your pet, your TV, your refrigerator. Real doctors. You ought to try laying in a concrete room on a metal shelf with a 2-inch pad, vomiting for a year. No, fuck that. I'd rather die. I think that they ought to do that in the prison system. I think that ought to be a law anywhere in America. Look, I sit here and I watch this every day, okay? There's 86-year-old men in here in wheelchairs that don't even know they're fucking alive. They would much rather take a pill and go to sleep and end it all. We should introduce a bill called the right to die. You should have the right to die. Especially if you're sentenced, to 20, 30 years in prison when you're already 60, 70 years old. You should have that right to die. And an American taxpayer shouldn't have anything to bitch about because they're taking that cost away from your pocketbook. That's what keeps me going, and that's what keeps me alive in here, because I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to be the first person to ever come out of here and actually tell the truth. You know, the movie The Orange is the New Black ain't even close to what goes on in here. Nobody wants to go up against the system and expose what the hell's going on in here. I'm going to do that, and then I have a goal that I'm going to be the first celebrity to walk out of prison and fix 5,000 little kids' faces that were born with flat palates. Yeah, because I mean, if we spent half of our energy doing stuff like that, you know, when I was out in the free world, I opened the zoo every holiday for free. I cooked dinner for everyone that didn't have anywhere to go. I took dinner to the streets of Oklahoma City to the homeless people sleeping on the sidewalks every holiday. I had an Animal Miracle Network where I granted last wishes for dying little kids. I did a lot, okay? And Tiger King didn't show any of that. I Charity was my favorite thing to do, even above animals. And there should be no reason why a little kid should have to go through his entire life being bullied over a $250 surgery. That depends. First thing I got to do is go to Mexico and get my husband and figure out where I'm going from there, because I can't run for politics in America living in Mexico. So I got to get out, and I got to get him back here legally, and then go from there. Awesome. I mean, I talk to him 5, 6 times a day, and he is very devoted, and he's sitting out there waiting. And he's got the cutest little nieces and nephews, and the most amazing sisters and father, and I can't wait to have a new family.